Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Renita, and I am so excited to be back with you again this week for Leadership Live. And as you can see, we're in a different place, a different space, and I have a new friend with me. But for those of you all who are like, lady, who are you? I'm just catching this. I'm not really watching it for you. I'm watching it for your friend because you know who she is already, but you don't know who I am. That's all right. I am Dr. Renita. I'm an educational leadership strategist, and that just means I love to work with aspiring and growing leaders to become more wonderful in their authenticity, to empower their fellowship, and at the end of the day, have a greater impact on the world. And in addition to that, I'm an author of Stepmom Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs, editions 1 and 2. Also, While You Are Sleeping, The Perfect Children All Educate All Ages. But I'm also a wife and mother of I just love to coach. I love to speak. I love to mentor. I love to help other people get to where they need to be in life. And a lot of times, it's simply the way you lead your life that's going to make a difference to whether or not you get to the dreams that you want to have. But Leadership Live, what is it? It's the discussion of stories and journeys that can help you and help me get to a better place in life. I have the amazing, the fabulous Chisa Pennix-Brown. Woo, 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 woo. So Chisa, if you will take a little moment here and tell them about you for those who don't already know who you are.
Yes, for sure. So, what's awesome about this is I get to introduce myself in a new way, too. So now I am Chisa Pennix-Brown, and I'm the chief curator of a company called Give It to the People. And Give It to the People focuses on mental wealth. And so what is that? That's getting your mind right and your money right. And what happened was it started out as a podcast. We used to do a live stream podcast every week. Then COVID came, which changed that to let's be online and do some things. And so what we do is we focus on Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, BIPOC businesses to really shine a light on those people who maybe everybody doesn't know about. Oftentimes you see people, they want to interview the celebrities. And I mean, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mind, let's interview a celebrity. But there are people that are right in your own hometown. There are people in other hometowns that people don't know about that have amazing businesses. And so what we do is we feature those businesses. Now, in addition to that, I also have another podcast that is actually my favorite one because I get to do all of the let me just tell you all the cussing. I get to do that, which makes me happy. And it's called Real Ass Affirmations. And so that's the one that's the most popular. But I think that the reason it is because I get to be the most real, authentic version of myself. And so with that, I get to say the things that you really want to say. I get to be that friend that you might not have. I get to be that person that pushes you a little bit. And so that podcast focuses on confidence. It really focuses on yourself, for you to be able to kind of talk yourself in or out of a situation, just depending on what that is. Because a lot of times we know what we need to do, but we need that little push to kind of get us over the edge. And then sometimes we just need to vent. So that podcast is really meant for people to kind of look at their mental health and to be able to have someone to talk to, even though technically you're not talking to me, but I'm talking to you and we're having this conversation where you can go back and forth and make better decisions for yourself. So that's what I do. And in addition to that, what we focus on to Give It to the People as well is curated conferences. So what happened was my husband and I put this business together, and the thing is that we said, well, what are we both good at? And we looked at that. The strengths that we both have are not the same, but our desire for success, and moreover than what maybe ever people consider success, is we consider quality of life. And so, one of the things is when you start to look at your life, if you feel like you're working too much, but you're not getting what you need, that's a problem, and you need to be able to fix that. But what happens oftentimes is that people don't get the opportunity to do what they want to do all the time. You're so busy doing what you have to do all the time. And I said, I want to do more of what I want to do. Now, my husband is definitely, I always tell people, he's the straight and narrow. He's the straight line. I am the squiggly line that goes all over the place. Okay. And then I always come back to the straight line, but he is the straight line that keeps everything focused. And so it's been really good working with him and now creating this business, because it took a little while to get to a point where he even felt comfortable with us doing a business together. And so I think when we start to look at this and just my introduction, being able to introduce myself and saying that I do have a business with my husband is, to me, a really important factor, because for years it wasn't like that. I had another company called Lady Bizness, which is what everybody knows me for. And so Lady Bizness is great. I mean, I still love Lady Bizness, but it was a lot more focused on me. I mean, and I'm just going to be honest. My role was still to help people, to teach them how to start and grow their businesses. So I still do that and give it to the people. But instead of just focusing on one class, now we'll focus on a one-day summit.
Right.
And so this is the other thing that's different about it too. When we're doing this, I am specifically bringing in other great speakers. And so I think that's a big difference. Like, with Lady Bizness, it was more focused on me teaching everybody the things.
Right.
Now I'm like, listen, let me find other great speakers who speak about topics that, I might still be good at that. But if you're better at that, or if this is your niche, or if this is what your business does, let me get you to be that speaker. So I've been able to turn on a lot of people to speakers that they never knew, bring in the resources that people know that they need, but they didn't know who to tap into. And a lot of times you'll see these resources, people will tell you to go to such and such, but you don't know the person that's there at that company. And now being able to introduce people to those, resources, but now you have a person that goes with it, has been a tremendous change, I think, in a lot of people's lives. So for me, give it to the people does exactly what we say. What do the people want? That's what we do, is we give it to the people.
Hello, somebody.
Come on.
Let me tell you. So what I love is that I remember that phrase coming out of you often. Show up, show out, and give it to the people.
Yes, yes.
And so the fact that you can do that and make it your business, make it a fuller lifestyle for you, and to do it with your partner, your spouse, that is next level. But one thing I want to tap into, because the first thing I want to talk to you with and about is confidence. That it was a topic you brought up, and I think it's so awesome. But you talked about something that you do that I think that it takes a lot of confidence to do it.
What is that?
And that is bring other people in who do what you do, but may do it better.
Yep.
And so to talk to you all and to talk to you, it takes a certain level of strength, a certain level of confidence in order to bring somebody into a space where you are, where you could be getting highlighted, where you could be shining, where you could be fabulous and be the one, but bring somebody else in who does exactly what you do equally or better and not be worried.
No. See, this is the thing about me. I when people ask, oh, have you always been that way? Yeah, I've always been this way. Like, I don't know any other way to be. You can go back and look at pictures of me from being a kid. And that's just the type of person that I was. I always knew that I was never going to be a person that was going to stay in a corporate setting. I knew that wasn't going to be for me. And so I just had to figure out what was my path. And when you start to really look at what you're good at, and if this the phrase, we're going to bring it in. Okay, I should go get my tambourine, right? Tammy. But when you know that you know that you know, okay, then who am I competing against? I'm not competing against anybody, because my role is to facilitate the learning. And if that's my gift, is to really see how to put things together and to make it easier. I have specifically been put in situations in a unique position to be able to see how to problem solve. And then not even just problem solve, but to also, because this to me is where our secret sauce is. And I don't mind telling you what the secret sauce is, because, unless you hire, you're not going to get it, right? I'm the secret sauce. And in me being the secret sauce, what happens is I want you to feel good. That's always the underlying sauce that is in every recipe when we put something together. So what happens is people will be like, okay, well, I don't know. Should I come? If I'm coming by myself, I don't know anybody. You don't need to know anybody, because you will feel good, So if you've ever been to a place and like they welcome you in, right? Just think about wherever like your favorite place is. If it's your family, if it's some friends, and when you walk in the door, you're going to get that love and that feeling. That's what we want people to have when they come to every one of our events. So in putting that as a secret sauce and thinking about how people are going to feel, then when we execute the speakers that we have, then I know that you need this certain thing. And I'm going to change the speakers depending upon where we're at, because of what the area is either known for or what they need, or, because it may be some things that are not necessarily for you. So let's just say, hypothetically, if we're here, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. It could be good to talk about agro-tourism, but that's not the main thing that happens here, right? So you need to talk about the things that are more city driven, right? But if we went to somewhere like, let's say Hillsborough, or a place that I go, Halifax, if we go to some different things that are more rural, then something like that might make sense. But what people want is to tell them something to not just give them, okay, this is an idea, but they want you to tell them how to execute the idea. And I think that a lot of times when people do conferences, they're just like, well, let's get some of the most important popular speakers that are out there. What I've learned is that some of those most important popular speakers, they want to sell you their program. Right. So they're only going to give you a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Enough so that you want to talk to them more in order to buy their program. Right. And see, with me, that I don't play those games. What do you need to know? I'm just going to tell you what you need to know. Now, you can then go from there. I'm going to give you the resources. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to literally give you a resource guide where you can go get that. And this is how you do it from A to Z. And so what happens with our stuff is everything is actionable. Now, if you don't act upon it, that's on you. But the fact that it was there for you to act upon it, the fact that you had the exact resource, it makes a huge difference in people being able to leave with something that's tangible. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people will do these conferences and it's like, oh, I want to get all of these big name speakers. And the big name speakers, some of them may have a lot of substance, but a lot of them want to try to sell you something else instead of just what you got there. And this is the issue too. So I'm gonna throw this out there just in case. Motivation is great, but motivation is not going to continually make you do something on a consistent basis. Right. Having action steps will, because you're going to have to take action after you get motivated. So I'm not here to pump you up. I'm here for you to have something that's sustainable. And that I think is a big difference. And that's why I don't have a problem bringing other people in, because for me, if the speakers that were there were great, what happens is the confidence that I have is that you love the event as a whole, right? It's about the whole experience. It's not just about one person. And so in shifting from it just being more about me as Lady Bizness and what I could do and what I could teach you, and I'm still awesome. So I don't even want you to think that, okay? Because, we're still awesome. But why can't you bring other people along? And I think that's where the problem comes in at, that people don't want to do that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because they don't know that they're still amazing. Mm-hmm. And you can still be amazing even if you're around other amazing people.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it probably is going to make you even more amazing, because iron sharpens iron. Amazing begets amazing. Mm-hmm. I love that you talk about enjoying the whole experience. And it starts at moment one. So, but when I think about when you go into different places, so one of my favorite experiences throughout the year, and I look forward to November because of this, is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
When I walk into Thanksgiving, I know I am getting an experience. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to feel warmth and love from the moment either I walk in the door or people walk into my door. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to smell a smell.
Come on.
That's about to change my whole perspective of cold, because it's usually chilly. Sometimes it's warm, but it's usually chilly. Yeah. And I need to be thinking something new and something different. Mm-hmm. And that smell changes my whole demeanor.
Yeah, and that's important too.
But so when you walk into these events, you walk into these places, you walk into, whether it's large or small, and you can walk into an air of comfortability. Mm-hmm. You can walk into like an enveloping love almost from the moment you walk in the door. That to me would build my confidence about, one, what I was going to experience there. Mm-hmm. I know I'm getting ready to have a great experience. I am confident that that's getting ready to happen. Mm-hmm. Two, that when I walk into the space, I need to bring a certain air. Ooh. Because I don't want to mess up the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And so when I think about leadership and confidence, part of that is the atmosphere.
It is.
Confidence is an atmosphere. It's an environment. Mm-hmm. And so when you're building these, what do you have in mind, like from moment one? Mm-hmm. How do you build confidence in the people coming there? Okay. And then how are you expecting confidence to be shown by the people who do come?
So one of the things I would say is in the speakers that we choose, for sure, I would say the location, definitely, because I need to see how the location is laid out so that this way I know what we need to do. One thing that I do at pretty much almost every, like the major conferences that we do is I always have a photographer. And so for me, before you come, I'm already setting the expectation that you need to make sure that you look like somebody, okay? Now, if y'all old enough, you know what that means, right? Don't come in here looking like anybody. coming here looking like somebody, right? So people will say, and what's funny is, let me just tell y'all, Renita said, I knew I needed to wear some color today because I knew you were going to have on color. So one thing that I could say is over the years that I've been able to build this, if you want to say reputation of, okay, well, if we're going to do something with her, we need to put ourselves together because she's going to be together. We don't play those games over here. The face going to be hitting, the hair going to be hitting, nails going to be done. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Outfit going to be together, because the thing is that I truly believe that that's a part of confidence, right? And so if you feel bad every other day, but I can give you one day that you come out to this conference and you feel like a winner, that's what people have told me. People have told me, listen, I was looking forward to this. I wanted to get my outfit together. Like that thing right there, when people say, girl, I got my outfit together, like I tell them that in advance so that this way they can come looking their best. Because when you come looking like you feel great because you look good, right? Yes. So it's that thing where it kind of goes back and forth. So setting the expectation that we're going to have headshots. What happens at a lot of these events that I do, people haven't had headshots in years. The headshot, and when I'm telling you, and I know this for a fact, people that got headshots with me in 2019, 2018, 2017 are still using those headshots today. So that lets me know that you didn't take a headshot in the last 4 or 5 years, but you still love that one headshot that you got however many years ago. When I see people still using pictures that we did in 2020, and even prior to that, I know that had an impact in them. And it's not a sad thing, but just think about the fact that, so you didn't go to nothing else, you haven't taken no other pictures since then, but they feel empowered before they get here to come that day and do it. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they're going to have something good. And so this is one of the reasons why I think that tone that's set before you get there makes a difference. Other things that we do too is like for every big curated conference that I do a playlist. And so for me, that was one of my ways to get your mind right. Not just while you're at the conference. So my logic with this is you're going to hear this music while you're at the conference. And even if it's something that's ambient, like, it's just playing in the background while you're having a conversation with somebody, it still sparks creativity. And then it pulls you together, right? So what happens is when people scan the QR code, I tell them, listen to this playlist on the way home, right? So that this way you still have that feeling of the event afterwards. I've never had an event and people told me, oh my God, I hated it. I've never had an event and people told me, oh my God, this was terrible. The one event that I did where I had somebody complain, let me tell you something. So we had brisket, right? Now I need you to understand this. So this lady got her plate filled up with brisket and she's standing there telling me, well, I don't understand why y'all didn't have chicken, as she's tearing the brisket down. Ma'am, now if you didn't eat beef, I could understand that. But you tearing this brisket down, this your second plate of brisket, and you mad because we didn't have chicken as you're eating the brisket. So that's the thing. Now, I've had people to me say before, okay, well, and this was something that I did that was a co-sponsor thing. Well, it wasn't as much for vegetarians. So when I had that made as a comment, every event that we have is something for vegetarians. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes you have to take things into consideration. So I take things into consideration, like I may have some vegans, I may have some vegetarians. I don't eat pork. So, anything that I do is probably not going to have ham unless somebody is sponsoring it, right? But just to think about what the menu is going to be. Right. So now you're feeling like, oh my gosh, she's going to have something for us. Yeah, she's going to have something for us. And then I think about that because, I don't know what you're doing, but I know that there should be something here for you. Right. And the vegetarians get mad when they say it's only salad. Okay. So you want to have something that's a little extra for them. And then people feel special, like you actually cared about them. So the confidence is in how you market it, who you have there, and how you're making people feel about themselves before they even get there. Right. That's what it is. So that's, to me, my secret sauce. And I know everybody doesn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think about the chairs. I think about having enough plugs for people to charge their phone. I send an email in advance to remind them of the things that they need to do, like something simple like saying, listen, you need to dress in layers, because I can't control the temperature in a lot of places when you're at big conference centers. Right. So if you're hot natured, you need to go ahead and be able to take off some. If you're cold natured, you need to be able to put something on. So little things like that, because people forget stuff. People don't think about things. And this is one thing that everybody knows about me. You need to be on time. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start on time. And what we're going to do is we're going to end on time. Everybody knows that. So to me, that's probably the most confident thing, because you know how many events you go to and it's late?
Honey, hundreds of thousands and thousands of hundreds.
That burns me up. And so to me, it's like you're punishing the people that are there on time because you're waiting for the late people to get there. And I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If I told you 10 o'clock we're going to start, guess when we're going to start? 10 o'clock on the what? Dot. 10 o'clock on the dot.
But also it's setting the expectation for future.
Yes.
Because if you know you've been to a Give It to the People event and it started at 10 o'clock and you got there at 10:20 and you missed 20 minutes of the conference, I bet next time you'll be there at 10.
Mhm.
Actually, I bet next time you'll be there at 9:45.
Come on. Come through. Be on time.
Be on time.
And that's one thing you'll know about us. So I think that for me, it is, like you said, it is that expectation. Because a lot of times, you know, you just go to stuff and you don't even know what to expect. You know what to expect when you come over here. And if you didn't, then you will learn.
Well, and expectation, having clear expectations. So I think about this not only in business, not only in events, but I think even in school. So I am a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that just burns me up is when there are expectations for my child that I was never told, that my child was never told. And it's hard for them to be confident in what they're doing and that they're doing it well if the expectations aren't clear. But that comes from where? Leadership. If your leadership has no clue what the expectation should be, if your leadership does not communicate, because let's go with communication, it is huge. So we already heard Chisa say that you will get an email telling you what to expect, things that you need to bring, what not only what you should expect from the event, but what you need to bring to it, as far as layers, as far as how you are dressed, as far as how you need to show up mentally and emotionally. You're ready for that. And so you can confidently walk in a door knowing that I am here in the right way. Educational leaders, whether you're in the classroom, whether you're running a building, whether you're running at CO, make your expectations clear. Because the only way teachers can do what they're supposed to do, the only way students can do what they're supposed to do, the only way that parents, come on, because parents are stakeholders. And anything that a child does, a parent is a stakeholder in it. So they need to be very clear about your expectations. If you want them to do things well and meet your goals and meet your expectations, they have to know what they are. In order for them to walk into them confidently and to do the things that they're supposed to do as parentals, as children, as people who may be in your business, who you may be partnering with, as people who are in your organization, who you may want to be donors, they need to know your expectation. If you want them to confidently give to you, they have to know what you need and what you expect and how you expect it.
That's a whole nother discussion right there. Yes. I mean, that just really is, because let's just go, because, you know, you use the word give. So I gotta jump in on that. This is the thing. People will give you more if you keep giving. And I think that that's why us saying give it to the people, to me, it was putting yourself in a servant leadership position, right? So if I keep giving, it's going to come back to me. It might sound selfish, but that's what's going to happen, right? And so you get that. I get extra joy and what I like to call the little chocolates. They're like my little warm and fuzzies. So I literally have, it's 3 little chocolates, because 3 is my number, the God number, right? And so it's 3 of them, and they stay inside of my stomach, and they be jumping around, and they be all happy and stuff, and they be shaking, they be doing the Harlem Shake, all of that, right? They might give you a stanky leg every now and then, but they have fun when somebody tells me, I love this event. I met this person. I had this connection. Oh my God, this person's a client now. Oh, we're working together. So when you give, you expect, you know, that you'll get something. It might not come immediately, but it will come back again. And if you have a nonprofit, people will donate more because they see what you're giving to the community. When you have a business, people will give you more, you know, recommendations and referrals because they see what you're doing. So it's an important factor to be confident, but also to understand that, you know, you have to give something too, you know, and you will get something back from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.